During World War II, Bulgaria's alliance with Nazi Germany reflected a complex blend of geopolitical ambition, historical grievances, and political necessity. While Bulgaria never officially declared war on the Soviet Union and avoided sending troops to the Eastern Front, its cooperation with the Axis powers nonetheless shaped its wartime role and post-war fate. The alliance was not born out of ideological alignment with Nazi goals, but rather out of a strategic desire to reclaim lost territories and avoid occupation. The road to alliance, national interests and territorial aspirations. After World War I, Bulgaria faced harsh penalties under the Treaty of Neuilly, 1919, losing territories to Yugoslavia, Greece, and Romania. These territorial losses bred deep resentment and a nationalistic desire for restoration. As World War II loomed, Bulgaria sought ways to reverse these losses. By the late 1930s, Bulgaria's political orientation was already leaning toward authoritarianism under Tsar Boris III, who, while not a fascist, ruled over a system that suppressed dissent and centralized power. As Nazi Germany rose to dominance in Europe, Berlin courted Bulgaria with promises of territorial revision, especially in Macedonia, Thrace, and southern Dobruja. Formal alliance with the Axis. On March 1, 1941, Bulgaria officially joined the Tripartite Pact, becoming an ally of Nazi Germany. German troops were granted passage through Bulgaria for the invasion of Yugoslavia and Greece in April 1941. In return, Bulgaria was rewarded with control over much of Vardar Macedonia, parts of western Thrace, and eastern Serbian territories, lands it had long coveted. However, Bulgaria's entry into the Axis was driven more by coercion and diplomacy than enthusiasm. Bulgaria sought to avoid the fate of countries like Poland or Czechoslovakia, which had been invaded and occupied. The alliance offered Bulgaria protection and the opportunity to revise its borders without direct military conflict. Bulgaria's limited role in the Axis war effort. Bulgaria's military role in the Axis was limited. Unlike other Eastern European allies of Germany, Bulgaria did not send troops to fight the Soviet Union, a rare stance among Axis-aligned nations. Tsar Boris III firmly resisted Hitler's pressure on this front, perhaps recognizing both the strength of Soviet forces and the strong pro-Russian sentiment among the Bulgarian population. Instead, Bulgarian forces were primarily used for occupation duties in the Balkans. They were responsible for maintaining control in the newly acquired territories and suppressing resistance movements, especially in Macedonia and Greece. These actions, while not as brutal as Nazi operations elsewhere, still involved repression and collaboration with German anti-partisan campaigns. The Jewish population and Bulgaria's dual policy. One of the most paradoxical elements of Bulgaria's alliance with Nazi Germany was its treatment of Jews. In 1941, under German pressure, Bulgaria enacted anti-Semitic laws similar to the Nuremberg laws. The government cooperated in the deportation of Jews from occupied territories, such as Macedonia and Thrace, to Nazi death camps. However, within Bulgaria's pre-1941 borders, a remarkable resistance movement emerged. Bulgarian civil society, the Orthodox Church, and politicians pressured Tsar Boris III, and as a result, over 48,000 Bulgarian Jews were spared from deportation. While Bulgaria bears responsibility for the fate of Jews in the occupied zones, its domestic stance remains one of the few successful examples of civilian opposition saving a large Jewish population during the Holocaust. Breaking with the Axis. Following the sudden death of Tsar Boris III in August 1943, Bulgaria's political position weakened. The Regency Council that replaced him lacked his authority and vision. As the Red Army approached in 1944, Bulgaria's alliance with Germany became increasingly untenable. In September 1944, under pressure from Soviet military advances and domestic communist uprisings, Bulgaria switched sides. The country declared war on Germany and joined the Allies. However, this late reversal could not erase its earlier collaboration, and Bulgaria faced Soviet occupation and a post-war communist regime. Consequences. Bulgaria's alliance with Nazi Germany was a calculated gamble, one driven more by opportunism and fear than by ideological kinship. It allowed the country to reclaim lost territories without direct involvement in the war against the Soviet Union, but at the moral cost of complicity in Nazi occupation policies and the Holocaust in neighboring regions. Ultimately, the alliance proved to be a double-edged sword. While it temporarily restored Bulgaria's borders, it also tied the nation's fate to a collapsing empire, and set the stage for the Soviet-backed communist takeover that would dominate Bulgarian politics for the next 4 decades. Ask ChatGPT.